Hello and welcome back to more Steam Deck coverage. Today we're going to cover a game of the Neptunia franchise, probably not the best or highest quality of all the games, but my personal favorite because it's the game that they centered around IF, probably my favorite side character of the franchise. So let's see how the Steam Deck can run Superdimension Neptune versus Sega Hard Girls, otherwise known as Sega Hardware Girls. Now, to give a brief background on this game, it's a crossover between Hyperdimension Neptunia and the Sega Hard Girls anime series and light novel that released back in 2013 and 2014, essentially turning all of Sega's consoles into anime girls in a sort of high school setting. The actual story is about IF traveling through time, going to different eras, and essentially meeting and solving conflicts with the Sega Hard Girls and Neptunia characters. And of course, running into constant jokes and humor along the way. After all, this is a game where Nep turned into a motorcycle that can talk. But let's talk about performance and settings, or lack thereof. There actually are no graphic settings available for this game at all. You go into configuration and you can change the resolution, and that's it. You can't change anything about the graphics. It's all set the way it's supposed to be and you can't do a thing about it. Thankfully, you don't need to. You have to do very little in this game for it to run really well. Actually, you don't need to do anything because everything is set the way it's supposed to be by default. The game won't be able to reach a locked 60 FPS, but it gets pretty close. 60 is what you will see about 95% of the time, with dips down into the 56 to 58 range when first loading into one of the 3D areas, and you'll have occasional drops down to 58 during combat and exploration. But like some of my other tested games, this is something you'll only notice if you got a counter up and see it. The game even stays at this high frame rate when you're fighting a bunch of enemies on screen and have a full battle party, so it's optimized pretty nicely. But for those that do want it locked, I did do a fair amount of testing with different Proton versions to see if I could get it locked at 60, but it just won't. 8, 7, experimental, the list goes on. They all have the same performance as base Linux. You can't really get out of those drops to 58 in any method I've tested. But at the same time, the drops to 58, and that's not really even an issue. And if it is and it bothers you, just lock the deck down to 40 FPS and you'll have that perfection and consistency. That wasn't much, but that's all I got for performance. Like I said before, you have to do next to nothing, which is good considering there aren't any settings you can toggle anyways. So let's move on to battery life. When running on higher brightness, Superdimension will net you around 4 hours of battery, while lower brightness will raise that up to around 5 hours. Plenty of playtime. Now, as we bring all this together, would I recommend this game to Steam Deck users? Yes, I would. The mission system is a bit repetitive in the game, but any Neptunia fans that want to play this game centered around Iffy and the Sega Hardware Girls will find near perfection with performance. Well, I absolutely loved playing it on the Vita, having no performance issues, and the silky smooth 60 FPS is really nice. And that's all I've got for you today. I'll be back soon with more Steam Deck performance and reviews. As always, thank you for watching, and have a great day.